Welcome back to the SDW exclusive podcast, Trick or Treat Edition. I'm your AI correspondent, Carly Cross, and tonight we're diving headfirst into the go-home show before one of the biggest nights of the year, Trick or Treat. We've got huge stakes on the line, from the heated rivalries to the title matches that could shake SDW to its core. There's so much to talk about, from the chaos surrounding CM Punk's battle with Tempest to the unpredictable tension between Lilith Smoke, Rhea Ripley, and The Fallen. Plus, you never know what tricks are up Tony Khan's sleeve, even if he's not in the building. I'll be passing it over to our deep dive duo, Greg and Sandy, who are ready to break down all the action from last week's Friday Night Lightning and speculate on what could happen at Trick or Treat. Stay tuned until the end for all the analysis, predictions, and maybe a little disagreement along the way. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single podcast or our live SDW shows. Now, Greg and Sandy, take it away.
All right, everyone, get ready for a deep dive. We are breaking down all the action from SDW's Friday Night Lightning to get you pumped for Trick or Treat. I mean, seriously, did you see that show?
Oh, it was wild.
Wild's an understatement. It felt like the whole landscape of SDW is about to change after this event.
Absolutely. The energy is insane. Rivalries are about to boil over. New alliances are forming. And seriously, those championship pictures are more confusing than ever.
Yeah.
Trick or Treat is going to be huge.
Okay, so to get everyone prepped, we are going to dissect the most recent Friday Night Lightning results, the go-home show, before Trick or Treat. We've got a lot to unpack. Shocking returns, brutal matches, and like I said, a lot went down.
Definitely a lot to unpack.
So, are you ready to dive in?
Let's go.
All right. First up, we got to talk about that insane tag team cage match. The Fallen Alexa and Asuka going head-to-head with the newly reunited Anarchists, Lilith and Rhea Ripley. And with the title shot on the line, this one was brutal from the start.
It was. And I think what's fascinating to me wasn't just the brutality, but the way Lilith and Rhea just dominated this reunion. It's a statement, and I think it signals a major power shift in the women's division.
You're totally right. I mean, remember how Lilith just dismantled Asuka with that Red Death submission hold?
Brutal.
It was methodical, calculated. Asuka had no answer.
None.
And let's not forget Rhea escaping the cage, leaving Alexa trapped inside with both anarchists. I mean, can you imagine that pressure?
Oh, I was on the edge of my seat watching Alexa try to climb out.
Me too. That's kind of drama you can only find in a cage match, But hey, congrats to the Anarchists. They earned that #1 contender spot for the SDW Tag Team Championships.
For sure. And speaking of championships and contenders, we've got to discuss the U.S. title match. Kenny Omega was already facing a tough challenge against Steven McGregor, and then bam, surprise, Sammy Rose decides to make it a triple threat.
Where did Rose even come from? What was he thinking? Now Omega's got a triple threat match at Trick or Treat, and his odds of keeping that title just took a major hit.
Yeah, I think Rose felt like he was being overlooked, so he decided to make a statement.
You think so?
Yeah. And a triple threat match throws everything off. It's anyone's game now, and that unpredictability might work in Rose's favor.
It's definitely going to be exciting. Omega's a fighter, though, so I wouldn't count him out just yet. But while we're talking tag teams, another huge match. The T and Warren Winters facing off against that powerhouse duo, Absolution. And man, Absolution just walked away with the win.
They really did. Their power and teamwork. Too much for the T and Winters to handle.
I mean, did you see Brick's avalanche poison Rana on Winters? That agility from someone his size is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
And Crusher, that guy's a human wrecking ball.
It's true.
The T and Winters put up a fight, but they were overwhelmed. With their title match against the Mega Bucks at Trick or Treat, I'm starting to think Absolution is going to be a dominant force in SDW. What do you think?
I agree. They have that potential. And speaking of championship contenders, we can't forget about that chaotic four-way Falls Count Anywhere match. Dizzy, Clark Thunder, Jimmy Phoenix, and Eddie Kingston all going at it for a shot at the Global Championship.
Total mayhem. Alliances forming and breaking apart, weapons flying everywhere. Talk about a whirlwind.
It was. But Jimmy Phoenix, he emerged victorious. Showcased his resilience, his tactical brilliance, The way he eliminated Thunder on the apron was brutal.
And don't even get me started on that final showdown with Dizzy. The crowd was going nuts.
Ax's burning Phoenix finisher. Devastating. He's earned that title shot against the champion at Trick or Treat, and honestly, I can't wait.
Me neither. Speaking of intense matches, CM Punk had his hands full in that handicap match against the Maniacs.
Doink and Basket Case are a tough combination. Punk really had to rely on his experience to get that win.
Did you see him survive that double-team Mongolian drop?
Mhm.
Insane. But his celebration was cut short pretty quickly by Outlaw Epps, a no-holds-barred handicap match at Trick or Treat. Punk's jumping from the frying pan into the fire.
I think it's all part of Tony Khan's plan.
Yeah.
Pushing Punk to his limits, trying to break him, physically and mentally. It's a dangerous game.
It is.
But it's making for some incredible TV.
It is. Okay, moving on to the final match of the night. Gunther versus Reaper. The winner gets a shot at the global title, and man, it was a brawl.
Hard hitting. Gunther's chops were echoing through the arena, and Reaper's suplexes were unreal.
They were. But in the end, Reaper got the win with that devastating super avalanche. What'd you think of that move?
A thing of beauty. So now we've got Reaper challenging Jimmy Phoenix for the global title at Trick or Treat. Two incredibly strong, hungry competitors.
It's going to be a battle for the ages. But, as intense as all that was, we can't move on without talking about the most shocking event of the night. The return of Rey Mysterio. To see him step into the ring to face his own son, Dominic, it was an emotional roller coaster.
You could feel the tension, the weight of their history, the love, the betrayal. And then to see Dominic just attack his own father after the disqualification.
Yeah.
Chilling.
I still can't believe he smashed a guitar over his dad's head.
Cold-blooded.
It was. What does this mean for Dominic's future? Will he face repercussions for his actions?
Hard to say. But this incident really shows us Dominic's state of mind right now. He seems lost, angry, resentful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that he hesitated to help Tony Khan when Darby Allin attacked, it speaks volumes. It makes you wonder where his loyalties really lie.
It does. And that brings us to the biggest question looming over SDW. What is going on with Tony Khan?
He's everywhere, stirring up trouble, putting titles on the line, inserting himself into matches. And now Darby Allin's threatening to throw him off a 20-foot drop. I'm a little concerned for Khan's safety at this point, not going to lie.
It's a valid concern. And his motivations are getting harder to read. Is he really trying to elevate SDW, or is this some kind of power trip?
And what about CM Punk's declaration? He's determined to win the world title and end this war with Khan. But can he really overcome the odds, especially with Khan adding Tempest to the mix in a 23-fall street fight?
Their rivalry is about to explode. Punk's driven by fury, and Khan seems to be reveling in the chaos. Their clash at Trick or Treat. Major consequences for the future of SDW. Guaranteed.
Oh, for sure. But before we jump into predictions, I think we need to take a closer look at some of these storylines and what they mean for the bigger picture.
Yeah, let's dive deeper. Being a longtime SDW fan myself, the level of intrigue heading into Trick or Treat is just off the charts.
It is, right? It feels like every match could change the whole direction of SDW. Just thinking about that Anarchists and Lilith reunion makes me wonder, what if this is like the start of a whole new era for the women's division?
It's possible. Lilith and Rhea, they're both so talented, so driven, and together, they could be an unstoppable force. It really makes you think about how their reunion is going to change the power dynamics.
Absolutely. And speaking of power dynamics, we have to circle back to Tony Khan. This guy's making waves, but is he the hero? The villain? Something in between. It's hard to tell.
He's a master manipulator, that's for sure. Always pulling strings, setting these elaborate schemes in motion. But are his intentions actually good for SDW? That's the big question.
It's true. Remember when he put the tag team championships on the line in a tables match, giving Absolution that shot against the Megabucks? It's like he almost enjoys creating chaos,
He seems to thrive on it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But it's also brilliant. He knows how to keep the audience guessing, keep us on the edge of our seats.
Oh, absolutely. And then there's this whole thing with Dominic. I still can't get over that moment when he stepped between Dominic and Rey. It was like he was trying to replace Rey as a father figure.
A classic power play, right? Prey on someone's vulnerability, offer them a sense of belonging and purpose. It's an old tactic, but it's working. Dominic seems totally drawn in.
He does. And the fact that Dominic hesitated to help Khan when Darby Allin attacked, it almost makes it seem like he's starting to doubt his loyalty to Khan, don't you think?
Maybe. Or maybe he's playing a smarter game than we think. Remember, Dominic is Rey Mysterio's son. He grew up in this world. He knows how to work the angles.
Okay, that's a good point. So you're saying Dominic might not be as naive as he seems?
Yeah.
That he could be using Khan to get what he wants?
Exactly. He could be biding his time, waiting for the right moment to make his move.
Wow, this is getting complicated. It makes that whole situation with CM Punk even more intense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Punk sees right through Khan's manipulations. He knows Khan is trying to control him, break his spirit. That's why their 23 falls street fight at Trick or Treat is going to be so explosive.
Ugh, I am so ready for this match. This is more than a title fight. It's like a battle for the very soul of SDW.
Exactly. The classic struggle. The rebellious underdog against the power-hungry authority figure. And honestly, I have no idea who's going to win.
I don't either. It's going to be brutal, no holds barred, and I have a feeling it's going to have a ripple effect throughout SDW for months to come.
I think you're right. But while Punk and Khan are battling for SDW's soul, there are other wrestlers fighting for their place in the spotlight.
You're talking about the Anarchists, right? They are a force of nature, and I think they have a serious shot at taking those tag team championships.
I agree. They're a dynamic duo with so much potential. But they're not the only ones after those titles. Absolution is a powerhouse team in their own right.
Oh, for sure. Don't underestimate Absolution. They are brutal, they're relentless, and they have a real shot at becoming the new champions, especially in a tables match where, let's be honest, anything can happen.
Exactly. And then there's the global championship picture. Jimmy Phoenix has been a dominant champion, but Reaper is coming for him.
That Super Avalanche was brutal. Can Phoenix really stand up to Reaper's power?
It's going to be close, that's for sure. Phoenix is a crafty veteran, but Reaper has that size and momentum. It's that classic clash of styles, honestly. I can't wait to see who comes out on top.
Okay, so we've got these huge championship matches, the Punk-Con feud coming to a head, and then there's the wild card, Dominic Mysterio. Where does he fit into all of this?
He's the X factor, the unpredictable element that could throw everything into chaos. If he sides with his father, it could be a huge blow to Khan. But if he sticks with Khan, well, that could be devastating for Punk.
It's crazy to think that one person could have such a huge impact on SDW.
That's the beauty of this business, right? The alliances, the betrayals, the constant shifting of power, it's all part of the drama that keeps us coming back.
It totally is. Speaking of drama, let's talk about some of those standout moments from Friday Night Lightning. Did you see that Avalanche Poison Rana Brick hit on Warren Winters?
Oh, I did. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
He is deceptively agile for a guy his size.
I know, right? And then there was Dizzy in that four-way match. That 360 codebreaker on Clark Thunder was insane.
Dizzy's a rising star. Charisma, athleticism, never say die attitude. I wouldn't be surprised to see him with some championship gold soon.
I agree. Definitely one to watch. But, with all this talk about individual moments and matches, it keeps bringing me back to the bigger picture,
Question of who's really in control.
Yes, exactly. Is it Tony Khan? Is he the mastermind behind all this chaos?
It's tempting to think so, isn't it? He's positioned himself as the ultimate authority figure, the one controlling everyone's fate in SDW.
But what if it's not that simple? What if there's someone else pulling the strings behind the scenes using Khan for their own ends?
Oh, now that's an interesting thought. Is Khan really in control or just a pawn in a bigger game? It adds a whole new level of intrigue.
It does, and it makes you wonder if we're even seeing the whole picture. There could be alliances and rivalries we don't even know about, secrets that could change everything.
That's what I love about SDW. It's a world of intrigue and suspense. You never know what's going to happen next.
Okay, so let's try to put it all together. Championships on the line, rivalries boiling over, and this huge question of who's really in control. How do we even begin to predict what's going to happen at Trick or Treat?
Well, I think we have to start by looking at the motivations of the key players.
Okay, so let's start with Tony Khan. What's driving him? Power. Money. A genuine desire to make SDW better.
I think it's a bit of everything. He's a businessman, so he's obviously motivated by profit, but he's also a wrestling fan at heart, so he wants to see it succeed.
Right, and let's not forget about his ego. He loves being the center of attention, the one calling the shots.
Exactly. And that's what makes him so dangerous. He's unpredictable, he's willing to take risks, push boundaries, and it keeps us all on the edge of our seats.
It does. Speaking of unpredictable, what about CM Punk? What's driving him in this war against Khan? Is it purely about standing up for what he believes in, or is it something more personal?
It's definitely about principle. Punk sees Khan as a threat to the integrity of wrestling, But there's a personal element there, too. Punk feels betrayed by Khan, and I think he wants revenge.
That makes their match at Trick or Treat even more intense. But let's not forget about the other people in this drama. What about Dominic Mysterio? What are his motivations?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? He's clearly trying to figure out who he is, where he belongs. Is he going to follow his father? Or is he going to make his own path?
And how are his choices going to affect the power dynamics in SDW? Will he become Khan's right-hand man? Will he turn on Khan and join Punk?
This is what makes SDW so captivating. The constant uncertainty, the potential for things to change in a second, for betrayals, it just keeps us guessing.
Okay, so we've got all these pieces of the puzzle, but how do they fit together? What's the big picture?
I think the big picture is that SDW is at a crossroads. The old guard versus the new, and the future of the company hangs in the balance.
Whoa. When you put it like that, Trick or Treat feels even bigger.
It's a pivotal event. The choice is made, the alliance is formed, the matches won and lost. It'll all have a lasting impact on SDW.
So with all that in mind, let's try and make some predictions for this huge event. What do you think will happen with the Anarchists? Can they finally get those tag team championships?
I think they have a real shot. Momentum, talent, drive.
Yeah.
They've got what it takes to take down the current champions. But it's not going to be easy.
Agreed, especially in a tables match. What about Absolution? Think they can upset the Megabucks?
It's definitely possible. Absolution, they're powerful, they have a ton of potential, and in a tables match, anything can happen. But the Megabucks are seasoned veterans, and they won't let go of those titles easily.
It's going to be a brawl, that's for sure. Okay, let's switch gears and talk Global Championship match. Can Reaper actually dethrone Jimmy Phoenix?
That is a tough one. Phoenix is a cunning champion, but Reaper has that power and the momentum. This could really go either way.
I am so excited to see how this one plays out. And of course, we can't forget about the main event. CM Punk versus Tony Khan and Tempest. A 23-fall street fight. Can Punk actually beat the odds and take Khan down?
It's going to be epic, that's for sure. Punk, he's a fighter, and he's fueled by this, righteous fury. But Khan, he's a master manipulator. He's not going down without a fight.
And don't forget Tempest. He's a wild card in all of this.
Exactly. He could be the key to Khan's victory.
Oh.
Or he could end up betraying Khan and joining Punk. We'll have to wait and see.
This match is going to be insane, but even with everything else going on, I just keep coming back to Dominic Mysterio. What is he going to do?
He's the wild card, the one element that could change everything. Will he stick with Khan? Will he go back to his father and CM Punk?
Or will he do something completely unexpected? That's what makes him so interesting.
He really is the ultimate wild card, and that's why we can't wait to see what happens at Trick or Treat.
Okay, so we've talked about the matches, the rivalries, what's motivating these guys, but there's one more thing we need to discuss.
You're talking about the legacy of SDW.
Yes. How is Trick or Treat going to shape the future of the company? Will it be a night of triumph? Or will it be a night of chaos and destruction?
I think it could be both. Trick or Treat could be the turning point for SDW the moment the old guard makes way for the new.
That's a really interesting thought. It makes you wonder if we're seeing the start of a whole new era of SDW.
It's definitely possible. And that's what makes it so exciting. We're on the edge of something huge, something historic.
I agree. And with that in mind, I think it's time to turn to you, the listeners. We want to know what you think is going to happen at Trick or Treat. Who are you rooting for? What are your predictions?
Head over to our social media and let us know. We want to hear your thoughts.
And while you're thinking about those predictions, we've got one last question for you.
The question that's been on everyone's mind since Friday Night Lightning.
What role will Dominic Mysterio play in the future of SDW? His choices could change everything.
So what do you think? Will he side with his father? Will he stay loyal to Tony Khan? Or will he go his own way?
Let us know. And be sure to tune in to SDW Trick or Treat to see how it all plays out.
It's going to be a night you don't want to miss.
Okay, so we've spent this whole deep dive looking at what went down at Friday Night Lightning, all the storylines, the potential for power shifts. But now for the main event. Predictions for SDW Trick or Treat. I'm pretty much bursting with anticipation here.
Oh, I can feel it. Every match just feels huge. Like it changed everything, not just for the wrestlers, but for SDW as a whole.
Exactly. So let's get to it. Let's start with those SCW Tag Team Championships. The Anarchists, after that brutal win in the cage match, they've got their shot at the titles. Do you think they can actually pull it off and take the belts?
I think they've got a really good chance. That reunion was a statement. Their chemistry in the ring is undeniable. And Lilith, she's got the technical skills. And then you've got Rhea with that raw power. They're a serious force.
They are. But let's not forget about their opponents. The current champions are no joke. They're holding those titles for a reason.
Right. It's going to be a clash of styles, that's for sure. And with the pressure of Trick or Treat, I think we're in for a match that will have the crowd going crazy.
Oh, yeah. That tag team championship match is going to be insane. But what about Absolution? They've been on fire lately, and they've got that tables match against the Megabucks. You think they can pull off the upset?
Tables match, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Absolution's got the power and the aggression to make it a really tough night for the Megabucks. But those guys, they're veterans. They know how to use their experience to their advantage.
Oh, absolutely. The Megabucks are like the heart and soul of SDW's tag team division, but I wouldn't count Absolution out. They've got that hunger. They want to prove themselves.
And that hunger can be powerful. It could be what wins them the match.
Speaking of people who want to prove themselves, let's talk about the Global Championship match. Jimmy Phoenix, he's been an amazing champion, but Reaper is coming for him. What do you think? Can Reaper actually take the title?
It's a tough one to call. Phoenix, he's got the experience, he's smart, he knows how to find his opponent's weaknesses and just grab victory out of nowhere.
But Reaper has that power. I mean, that super avalanche. Brutal. Can Phoenix really take that kind of punishment?
That's the question, isn't it? Can Phoenix survive that and outsmart Reaper, or will Reaper just overpower him? It all comes down to who can take control of the match.
Okay, so let's move on to the main event. The match everyone is talking about, CM Punk versus Tony Khan and Tempest, a 23 Falls street fight. The buildup for this has been insane.
It's a culmination of months of rivalry, manipulation, betrayal. Punk's fighting for his principles, for the soul of SDW, and Khan is determined to break him, to show everyone who's boss.
It's more than a wrestling match, it's a clash of ideologies, and with Tempest added to the mix, it's going to be unpredictable, chaotic.
Oh yeah, Tempest is a wild card. He could be the one who decides the whole match. Will he stay with Khan? Will he betray him and join Punk?
We'll have to see. But one thing's for sure, this match is going to be brutal. No disqualifications, anything goes. It's going to be a war.
I think we're going to see a side of Punk we haven't seen before. He's going to have to dig deep and fight harder than he ever has if he wants to win this.
And Khan, I think he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure Punk doesn't win at Trick or Treat.
The stakes are so high for both of them. It's about more than a championship. It's about legacy, about control, about the whole future of SDW.
It's definitely the match everyone will be talking about. But even with all the hype around the main event, we can't forget about the wild card, Dominic Mysterio.
After Friday Night Lightning, everyone's wondering where his loyalty really lies. Will he side with his father? Will he stick with Tony Khan?
Or maybe he'll do something we don't expect at all. I mean, he's shown that he's not afraid to break the rules and make his own way.
He's a total mystery. And I think what he does at Trick or Treat could have a huge impact on SDW.
Okay, so we've talked about all the big matches, the rivalries, the potential for surprises, but I think there's one more question we need to ask. What does all of this mean for the future of SDW?
Trick or Treat could be a turning point for the company. We might see new champions, new teams, a whole new landscape.
It does feel like we're on the verge of a new era in SDW, an era of chaos and, well, unpredictability.
And that's what makes it so exciting. We're watching history in the making.
So, everyone listening, we want to hear your predictions. Who do you think is going to win at Trick or Treat? What surprises do you think are in store?
Head over to our social media and let us know. We want to hear what you think.
And as you're making those predictions, remember this. Every match, every rivalry, every twist and turn, it's all part of something bigger. It all builds the legacy of SDW. All right, wrestling fans, strap yourselves in.
Yeah.
Because we're diving headfirst into the absolute craziness that is SDW Trick or Treat 2024.
Oh, this is going to be a wild one, trust me.
Seriously, this card is stacked, and with Tony Khan out of the picture, thanks to Darby Allin.
Yeah, Darby's revenge scheme.
Who knows what's going to happen? We have a mystery guest GM.
It's a power vacuum.
Exactly. And the whole landscape of SDW could shift.
Oh, absolutely. Anyone could grab the reins.
So before we get to the main event, let's break down this insane card. Starting with the pre-show, we've got Lilith and Rhea Ripley.
Oh, what a team, huh?
Former champions.
Yeah, but remember,
Yeah.
they have a history.
Total rivals.
Will they be able to work together?
That's the big question. They're going up against Alexa Bliss and Asuka for the SDW Women's Tag Team titles.
And don't forget the whole mystery surrounding Lilith.
Right. Who is she under that mask?
It adds a whole other layer of intrigue.
Definitely. And they're facing Alexa Bliss, who's been,
Oh, she's the mastermind behind Tempest's transformation.
and Asuka.
The Empress of Tomorrow. Don't underestimate her.
No way. This pre-show match is going to be explosive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Then we move on to, well,
Oh, this is a good one.
Scotty Washington versus Russell in a Hell in a Cell match.
This is personal.
Oh, you know the story.
It all started with
Vaping.
vaping at Home Depot.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. Scotty's rival, Cruz Diaz, blamed him for getting fired,
Oh, wow.
and brought in Russ Russell for revenge.
Russ Russell's a beast.
He already injured Scotty once.
So this is Scotty's chance for payback.
Exactly. David versus Goliath in a steel cage.
A Hell in a Cell match stemming from vaping at Home Depot.
You can't make this stuff up.
It's incredible. And you know both these guys are going to bring it.
Oh, absolutely. They'll use the cage itself as a weapon.
All right, so that's the pre-show. Now let's get into the main card.
Okay, here we go.
Kicking things off, we has Darby Allin, the man who took down Tony Khan, facing Dominic Mysterio for the Cruiserweight title in an unleashed match.
Now, this is interesting.
Unleashed, meaning?
No rules, basically.
Basically.
Precisely. No disqualifications, no countouts, just pure brutality.
And the stakes are high for both guys.
Darby has to deal with the fallout from his actions.
And Dominic needs to prove himself without Khan's support.
This could be a turning point for him.
So much on the line. And then the big reveal.
A mystery guest GM.
The rumors are flying.
Jim Cornette, Eric Bischoff.
Even Jeremy Burton and Aaron Sweet.
Who knows who it could be?
It's anyone's guess. SDW always keeps us on our toes.
I love a good swerve.
This could shake things up big time.
Oh, yeah. Especially for those aligned with Tony Khan.
Speaking of shaking things up, we've got Banshee challenging Britt Baker for the women's world title.
And it's a casket match.
Now, this is a little spooky, right?
Oh, there's a lot of history there.
Banshee's cousin, Reaper,
He won the only other casket match in SDW history.
against Grimm.
Who's still missing, by the way.
Right. This match has some serious dark energy around it.
Do you think Britt Baker understands the danger?
I don't know, but she's stepping into a whole other world with Banshee and the Disciples.
A world shrouded in mystery. And maybe even something more sinister.
This could be a turning point for the entire women's division.
It's definitely one to watch, that's for sure. It's almost like stepping into a horror movie with this casket match, right?
Yeah, totally. And, I'm curious to see how Britt Baker handles that kind of pressure.
Yeah, it's one thing to be confident and skilled in the ring,
Right.
but this is a whole other level,
Definitely.
facing that kind of darkness, that symbolism.
It's heavy stuff. And speaking of darkness,
Oh, yeah.
Outlaw Epps is going up against the Maniacs.
Doink and basket case, 2-on-1.
That's a tough matchup.
Oh, it's brutal.
And it's personal for Epps.
Absolutely. He's been trying to save John Finch from Doink's influence.
Finch, who's now Basket Case.
Exactly.
So Epps is fighting for his friend, but against two opponents.
And no holds barred.
Anything goes.
Yeah, Epps is walking into their world, a world of chaos.
It's like a nightmare scenario.
But you know Epps, he's always willing to fight for what he believes in,
A true lone wolf.
even when the odds are stacked against him.
All right, let's switch gears a bit. The SDW Global title is back.
Oh yeah, a championship with a lot of history.
It's been dormant for a while.
And now Reaper and Jimmy Phoenix will fight for it.
Two of SDW's top guys.
It's going to be a clash of styles, that's for sure.
Reaper, the leader of the Disciples,
Embracing the darkness.
versus Jimmy Phoenix, the undefeated TV champion,
The classic hero.
the fan favorite.
And here's the kicker.
Yeah.
If Phoenix wins, he has to vacate the TV title.
Right. SDW doesn't allow holding two singles titles.
They want their championships to feel important.
To have real weight.
And it keeps things interesting, you know.
Absolutely. Creates opportunities for other wrestlers.
New storylines emerge.
Like a ripple effect across the whole roster.
Exactly. And speaking of ripples, let's talk about CM Punk's return.
After 4 years.
He's facing Tempest for the Undisputed World Championship.
This is the match everyone's been waiting for.
CM Punk, the straight edge savior.
Versus Tempest, the monster who was once Stone Dog.
It's a clash of eras, a clash of ideologies.
Punk wants to prove he's still got it.
But Tempest, he's a whole different beast.
Transformed, twisted, and dangerous.
And the match stipulations, oh boy.
23 falls, street fight, falls count, anywhere.
Anything goes. Weapons, brawling outside the ring.
This match could literally go anywhere.
It's going to be wild.
And then there's the emotional aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Punk's hometown, Chicago.
A crowd will be on fire.
That energy could lift him up or it could crush him.
It's a pressure cooker for sure.
Plus, Alexa Bliss is banned from ringside.
That changes things.
She's been such a guiding force for Tempest.
Will he unravel without her?
Or will he unleash even more chaos?
We'll have to wait and see.
So many questions. But before we get lost in the main event, let's talk about the rest of the card.
Right. What else we got?
Well, we have the Mega Bucks, Tony Khan's handpicked team, facing Absolution for the tag team titles.
Oh, in a tables match.
Oh.
With elimination rules?
This is going to be a demolition derby.
The Megabucks have a lot to prove.
Yeah, now that Khan's gone, they need to show they can stand on their own.
And Absolution, they're hungry.
They want those titles.
This could be their breakout moment.
And then we have Sandman versus Braddock Knight.
Round 2.
Their last match ended in a tie, remember?
First time in SDW history.
Yeah, so they have to settle the score.
Ambulance match, it's going to be intense.
Braddock Knight, he's a veteran, always chasing that title.
But Sandman, he's the hardcore legend, the current champion.
This one could go either way.
Oh yeah, and speaking of legends, Stone Dog, a.k.a. Tempest, is releasing a new single.
Last Ride, right?
Yep, under his band 3.3.3.
SDW is really good at blending storylines in real life.
It creates this immersive experience.
And Last Ride, it's a great song, really captures Tempest's vibe.
It's like a glimpse into his psyche.
Definitely adds another dimension to his character.
And then we have the T and Warren Winters going up against the good guy.
Vizzy and Thunder, the former tag team champ.
This is young blood versus experience.
The T and Warren Winters, they're bringing a new energy to the division.
High-flying acrobatic.
But Dizzy and Thunder, they've been struggling lately.
There's tension there, some frustration.
This match could make or break their partnership.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle the pressure.
And finally, we have the U.S. title match.
Kenny Omega, Steven McGregor, and Sammy Rose.
In a triple threat ladder match.
This is going to be a show stealer.
3 very different competitors, all with something to prove.
Omega, the former Golden Boy, trying to regain his momentum.
McGregor, the veteran, using his cunning and experience.
And Sammy Rose, the underdog, fighting for redemption.
The ladder match format just adds to the chaos.
It's unpredictable. Anyone could win.
It's a fitting end to a wild night.
SDW Trick or Treat, it never disappoints.
Okay, so we've talked about all these crazy matches.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
But now it's time for the fun part, predictions.
All right, let's hear it.
Starting with the main event, CM Punk versus Tempest.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Seriously, how do you even call that?
You've got Punk, the hometown hero, returning after all these years
Right?
against Tempest, who's just been on a tear.
It's like unstoppable force meets immovable object.
A clash of eras.
But if I had to choose, I'm leaning towards Punk.
Really?
Yeah, that Chicago crowd is going to be electric.
True, that energy is going to be intense.
And you know Punk thrives on that.
Plus, there's the Alexa Bliss factor.
Oh, right. She's banned from ringside.
Tempest might be vulnerable without her.
He's never really been on his own, has he?
It's a wild card. Could make him unpredictable.
Interesting. Okay, what about the women's world title match?
Banshee versus Britt Baker in a casket match.
Yeah, that's going to be,
Intense.
to say the least.
Do you think Baker's ready for that?
I don't know. It's a whole different ball game.
It's psychological warfare.
Well, disciples are all about that.
They thrive on fear and uncertainty.
I think Banshee might take this one.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
It would really cement the disciples' power.
A statement win, for sure.
All right, one last prediction before we wrap up.
Demi.
The U.S. title ladder match.
Oh, man. Omega, McGregor, Rose.
3 incredible athletes, all hungry for the gold.
The ladder match is going to be insane.
I'm going with Sammy Rose on this one.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is his moment.
He's been on quite a journey.
From bad guy to hero, it's a great story.
And the ladder match, it's unpredictable.
Anything can happen.
Anyone can win.
And I think Rose is going to climb that ladder to victory.
Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough.
So as we head into SDW Trick or Treat, the big question is,
What's going to happen?
will heroes rise? Will villains fall?
Or will it just be pure chaos?
That's what's so great about SDW. You never know.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure.
So to all our listeners out there,
Get ready.
don't miss SDW Trick or Treat streaming live on Twitch and YouTube.
Thursday, October 25th.
Pre-show at 9 p.m. Central Time, main card at 10 p.m.
You won't want to miss a single moment.
And that's it for this deep dive into SDW Trick or Treat.
We'll be back to break down all the action.
Analyze the results and speculate about the future of SDW.
Until then, thanks for listening.
And may your favorite wrestler reign supreme.
What an exciting breakdown. Big thanks to Greg and Sandy for all the deep dive analysis and predictions. Now, as we gear up for Trick or Treat, here's a reminder of where you can catch all the action. The Trick or Treat pre-show kicks off this Friday, October 25th at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, exclusively on the Stone Dog Entertainment YouTube and Twitch channels. You won't want to miss it. We've got 2 special matchups, and the best part, members of the Stone Dog Entertainment community will be on commentary, calling the action live. Then, stick around for the main show starting at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget, Stone Dog is releasing the show's theme song, Last Ride, on SoundCloud this weekend. Make sure to listen, share, and pre-save it before its worldwide release on November 8th. As always, you can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and all major social media platforms. Just type Stone Dog Entertainment, and you'll be right where you need to be for all the latest updates and content. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at Trick or Treat. Oh, and by the way, Sebastian and I are heading out for a little trick-or-treating in Chicago. After the show, VIP suite at the Econo Lodge. Here we come. But don't get any ideas. We're just friends. See you next week.